seems smart now. I don't know what to do now that I have the camera on. I forgot my talking points. Oh no, because I stopped talking, I forgot my talking points. This is ADD brain. Drag Queen Story Hour. My main complaint. This is something that was born in nightlife that is inherently for adults. This is supposed to be for people 21 and up. There's a lot of places that they allow 18 and up. I always found that weird. I say that as someone who's going to bars at 19 that was legal, but as someone who became 21, then you go, I'm not willing to go to jail for someone pretending to be of age coming into a space and then taking my drink off a table or something. Then I'm in trouble. Like, that's not worth it to me, right? Like, the stakes there, why not just have everybody in the venue be of age? And in particular with gay bars, the whole thing about it was, why not have everyone there have the commonality of being same-sex attracted? If you see a dude at a gay bar, chances are he is there because he's interested in men. You have the safety of approaching him and knowing that most of the other people in this room would have your back for hitting on a man in a gay bar. In a lot of other spaces, even if other gay people were around, you might just get hung out to dry because that's the reality. Like, you are outnumbered in real life. I'm not making it a us versus them, but historically that was the case, was that people were not tolerant of this behavior, and it was socially acceptable to punish people if you perceive them to be feminine, or as the youth call it, sus, short for suspect. Which, what do you mean? Being gay is suspicious? Why do people feel the need to investigate who's gay and who's not? I don't understand. But it brings me back to the point of having spaces that are appropriate for people. And so knowing that a gay bar, most people there, it should really be 95% of people there, minimum, are same-sex attracted. I think that's a reasonable request for a gay bar. Gay modifies the word bar. Like, you know how bars are for everybody? Gay kind of tells you what kind of bar this is. So when people want to come to a gay bar, straight people, queer people, and they want to tell you, it's an everybody bar. It's a gay bar. It's advertised as a gay bar. They get funding under a gay bar. So it's not an everybody bar. It's not an everybody space. Like, there was a reason why this space is the space that it is. And it was a safe space for people back when safe spaces weren't like, oh, please respect it. It was like, we found a safe space. We made one. We poured our own money into it. We dedicated our own patronage to these establishments so they would stay afloat. Now, chicken or the egg, if these gay bars do slide under, it's their own fault, because a lot of them have chosen to pander to the heterosexual community. These bachelorette parties, these drag brunches, constantly. I am telling you, I worked nightlife for 5 years. The way that drag culture has taken over everything, it is like RuPaul's Drag Race became like the church of gay culture, and it has nothing to do with being gay. There's overlap, yeah, but does every gay person, did they go through that I dressed like a girl phase? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I believe that there are definitely feminine boys that you're like, okay, yeah, we know he's gonna be gay later. But that does not mean that every boy is secretly needs to go through that, oh, what's it like to have long hair and lashes and to be a woman? It's like, I think you can experience femininity as a man without needing to do all the archetypical and stereotypical things associated with womanhood, especially when they're always just around consumerism. It's always just stuff you have to buy, like shampoos and keratin for your new hair, or wigs and eyelashes and nails and new outfits all the time and accessories and jewelry. It's just consumer things. Like, so it's just one more thing for you to buy. It's not a real form of self-expression where it's like, all right, here's some cheap art supplies. Whatever you make of it could, you know, it could amass like an incredible amount of value depending on how much technique and artistry is put into it, as opposed to this where it's all about gotta stay fresh, gotta be happening, gotta have looks and blah blah blah. And like, again, that's just not what gay culture is. Gay culture was criticized heavily for having this emphasis on being really preoccupied with people's bodies and what they look like. Now, that's seen as a bad thing. I think, and I believe this because I was a man who did athletics, I do believe that the camaraderie of manhood involves challenging each other. I believe that it makes you need to push your boundaries to say, look, the guys around me are doing incredible things. Like, I can't be the one slacking. I'm not gonna be the weak one on the team. I'm not gonna be picked on, right? So people, in their own ways, bullying works, and like, it does push you to find your inner strength, find out where you fit in, find out what your talents are and what you can contribute to the group. So I think you'll find that amongst a lot of groups of guys, that they're not necessarily competing for the same slot. Like, there's like the funny guy, there's like the big guy. It's because guys can kind of find their own value within each other, and it's not necessarily everyone's the biggest, everyone's the strongest. But in an arena like a gay bar, where you are being sized up for sexuality, I think it makes sense that people are going to be judging your body and what you look like, especially, that's what men do. Peacocking and showing off and looking good. Like, that's like, and looking good naturally, that's the thing too, is like a dude being able to just pop his shirt off and you can be like, you know what? He hasn't shaved in a long time. He's just wearing some jeans, whatever. But the fact that his body looks good, the fact that it shows he does work with the body he was given, there's some respect there. That makes him attractive. That's that older school leather kind of look, right? Nowadays, leather's more schlubby. It's a lot more just like big guys. It's bears equals leather, which I don't know why that is inherent, but I see the overlap. But again, it's like drag and twinks, it's inherent, and I'm like, I don't agree. I don't agree. Can't you just be like lithe and lean and all of that and let it just be a part of your male anatomy? Because guess what, lots of dudes used to look like this before everybody was taking HGH and steroids and all that. Like, I feel good about my body, and here's the thing, it took me a long time to get to that. And so when other people are like, you shouldn't feel good about your body, it's unearned, it's like, it's absolutely earned. I had a big journey about it, and it's exactly where it is. It's not at the top of the mountain, but you know where it is, where it's supposed to be. And I'm very happy with it, I'm very proud of it. And if I want to show it off and you have a problem, that's really kind of your problem. And if my confidence outweighs your hateration, then we just move right along. And that's kind of how life works. So the fact that gay bars became this safe space for everyone's body positivity and inclusiveness and intersectionality, it's like, just throw it away, because that's not what it's about. This was a place for women to meet other women and not be hit on by men at a bar, you know, but at the same time, they mind their business when men are doing their man stuff in a space like that, you know? Like, there was like a platonic underlying understanding that like, this is mutually symbiotic. Like, we watch you, no we don't, we watch your bag, you watch our bag, but we really don't have that much interest in what you're doing sexually and whatnot. I mean, we might have an ear to the ground, like people want to know what's up, gossip is for everybody, but in the sense that people keep to their own and what their interest is. Instead, nowadays, like I said, it's inclusivity. It's like the people who just want to be involved in the moment in some way, shape, or form. Like, yeah, I'll like hook up with a girl, or I'll make out with a girl just so that, you know, I'm bisexual, I'm cool, I'm with it. It's like, just not being homophobic doesn't make you in the LGBTQIA, like whatever that alphabet is. Like, I feel like we're like the military, like our standards for admissions are dropping. Like, we don't need it though, like our attendance is just fine. It was never a numbers game, we were doing just fine. If you were gonna be gay, you were gonna be gay. It was gonna happen anywhere in the world, any skin tone, like, it could happen. So it was just very bizarre to me, like, and it still is, that's the common thread now. And I'll run it back to one of my main complaints, that the perception of the gay community is with drag, and I think that to this day that is my big issue that keeps me from wanting to spend money at gay bars, is that this isn't supposed to be like the museum of like gay spectacles and clownery, which is how people treat it. they come in here like just Snapchat and their $1 bills. And I've been a go-go dancer. I've been on the other end of that, right? But I've been in the vulnerable position where you're not wearing hardly anything, and like these people are really kind of scrutinizing your body, as opposed to these guys who are wearing padding and wigs and makeup, and they're now 6'8" in their high heels, and they got all this mouth on a microphone because they've been given free reign to be sassy and to keep up with these RuPaul's Drag Race personas. And I'm telling you, like I said, 5 years dancing in different states, different types of environments. Some you're a little bit more go-go-y, like you're very much just away from the people. Others, like the people are tipping you, like you get groped, like it's aggressive, right? So it's a very different vibe depending on where you're at. But I have seen it, and just the way that, say you're in your cages, say you're on your stages, the drag queen will have a microphone and they will say raunchy stuff about you. They will like say, not like stuff to be like, look how good they look, don't you want to give them some money? It's stuff that's kind of like debasing and degrading, and it's stuff that's trying to make it seem like welcome to my petting zoo. Like, and it gave me a big distaste having to share spaces with them, locker room type spaces, which were usually just like a dressing room, bathroom, whatever. Let me say this as part of man world too. Getting hit on by somebody that you don't see their value, but you know they see value in you, it takes you back, because it's like, I know you want something from me, but I don't need anything from you, and I don't really know how to let you know, because you didn't really do anything wrong, but like I'm now in the position where I gotta like reject you, and I don't want to have to do that to every nice person that wants to talk to me. And I know that's not me trying to be egotistic. I'm saying that's a lot of men's attitude. Like, that's just what it is. Like, men have to kind of wear it. Women are very, obviously their appearance is what's scrutinized, and then you itemize it like, oh, is she wearing nice stuff, or is it cheap looking, whatever. But I think men are very much, what is the value of a man? What kind of provider? Or is he a high value man? Is he that is very heavily scrutinized. And so I think that that's an unfair shoot. I'm a point loser because I was an ADD person, but let me say this. I say most of that to say, I think that at a gay bar, wanting to take your shirt off and wanting to be, kind of appreciated for the work that you put into your body in a space that's appropriate, where everyone's 21, everyone is in this space mostly comfortable with the male body, or women who are like, it ain't my first time seeing it, it's just not for me type of thing. Like, I feel like people get it in a space like that, and people who come into those spaces and invade them, they cause problems. And I feel like those are the kinds of people who feel unwelcome in gay bars, and then they want it to expand. Like, okay, let's make it a family friendly thing so I can come. And then let's make it more open and more inclusive, and let's take it to the parks, let's take it to the streets. And it's like, because you know that you don't feel like this space is for you, and it's because it's not for you. Like, that's, I don't get why that part's hard to understand, is if you don't feel welcome in a gay bar, it's probably because it's not for you. Like, and if you feel unwelcome and you know it is for you, then like assert a little bit of like your own dominance here. Maybe not be domineering towards others, but like stake your claim, know that you're allowed to be in a space like that. And I say that to the gay and bisexual men and to the bisexual and lesbian women. I'm not talking to anybody else on that one. I'm not giving you guys my permission to be like, well, I feel like I belong. I'm clearly defining who I think belongs in a gay bar. Y'all that overlap, like y'all that are gay and a transvestite or whatever you do, like that makes sense. You're at a gay bar. Okay. Once you're trying to say though, well, I'm actually a woman, and here's the thing, I'm heterosexual, but I need this community, and I've always been a part of this community, and they're the same thing. I'm like, no, your thing flies in the face of my thing. So no, go. Because that's not what we're here for. Like, that's not what this space was established for. This isn't I wonder what that person's sideshow story is. I don't really want to hear it. I don't want to know it. And like, I've done my due diligence of like having conversations with people at bar and trying to save their little soul while they're questioning themselves and stuff. But you'll find that people are going to surround themselves with the information they want to hear. And as long as we keep putting out like these alternative role models like drag queens and people that don't have to be accountable in real life. It's like supervillains. It's these people who have like the alter egos, you know what I mean? It's like you have your drag persona that's usually some gross, crass sexual innuendo of a name. And that person's all sassy on a mic, they say all this crap, they talk it all up, and they're, you know, they get to put that persona away at the end of the night. They don't have to defend all the shit they just talked about people. They don't have to worry about the fact that they're a grown man who just humiliated people in the audience. Like, they call people out, if you've ever been at shows where they're like, oh, I see you, pink shirt, why are you trying to sneak to the bathroom, pink shirt, you're supposed to give me a tip. Like, they call people out, they harass them for money. I generally don't find it, like, if I find out a drag queen's on like the bill for the night or even performing or something, I'll just not go. It's not for me. It's not for me to hold up a sign every time the drag queen comes out like, we hate this. But it is like, I'm not gonna bring my patronage, I'm not gonna bring my energy and atmosphere and ambiance to a space like that. It's like when DJs play bad music. I don't wanna dance and give you the feedback that it's good. I will just withhold what I think is my feedback or approval, and like if you take it as, wow, clearly that person was having a good time and now they stopped having a good time because of this, it's like, then you'll get it. I don't have to be in your face harassing someone to say I disagree with it. It's more like, usually when you tell someone they disagree, hit dogs will holler. So there's a great man named Billboard Chris. All he has to do is stand there with sandwich boards, like a sign on the front of his shirt and a sign on the back. Just stands there and people come to him and they engage in these conversations with him. So all he has to do is just disagree with people who are running on emotion-based arguments. If you can be logical, if you can appeal to why certain things exist and why, people are a lot more likely to hear you out without having to get as emotionally inclined. So my main argument is that I believe drag queens and the like, those are in adult nightlife space. Those are something that came out of that space and they should stay in that space. In particular, the ones with the big old fake boobs and the fake padding and stuff. It's grotesque. It's cartoonish, it's grotesque, you guys look ridiculous. Let's go back to the day and age. Y'all can roast me because I have a shirt tucked into my shorts. I used to do that because I was a wrestler. I used to like challenge people. I'd be like, what you doing? You're not a wrestler. Why you got that? It's stupid, but I mean, it's just, people do their thing. Like, be willing to back it up. I'm just saying, like, that to me is stupid looking. It's not flattering on the male body. It to me is like a bad Halloween costume, but like everyone is fawning over you. So it is just, and at a certain point you see someone get too much praise, and it's not that it's like, oh, I need to take them down a peg. It's more the, oh God, everyone's in on it. You all feel pity for this person. So you're like, we need to hype them up, you guys, and we need numbers. We need to really get out there and say like, you look beautiful, you're amazing. Like, you really need to be doing that. So back to my argument being that I believe that drag queens should exist in nightlife spaces, but I don't think that every gay bar needs to be turned into a drag queen den. And I do believe that's what's happening. And I don't know, I think it has something to do with gay bars just not being as needed of a space, allegedly. I think the need still exists, but just in terms of they can't get the patronage to individual gay bars in the same way that they did in the past. So I think they needed to branch out, needed to like reach new audiences. Companies do that with gender neutral clothing and boys wearing nail polish and all that now. It's just more ways for you to buy stuff. That's all it is. Like, so if you're subscribed to it, if you think that's awesome just because it's fresh and new to you, you don't really realize you're just like on the consumerism wheel of like, all right, I'm a tip this person a few little dollars, the club pays them their little cover fee, this person goes around being like, I'm that bitch, but it's like, it's not like a living wage. So this person still has a regular job, and so like in their off time they're being like this mean drag queen, or the ones that are fake nice. I'm like, show me a drag queen doing charity for real. Like, show me an actual drag queen like in drag, like serving chili at the soup kitchen, and then that might be a role model. Show me something actual. Actuals and factuals, instead of the idea of like, ooh, a charitable queen, ooh, a person who does this, ooh, I'm just over drag. I'm over, like, if we, as a generation of people who grew up with like superheroes and comics and cartoons, like if we want to do that, like, get strong, like get big, like get tough, so that way you can be a superhero. I feel like so many of you gave up and became supervillains. And you're not even that super, so you're just like regular villains. So like get it together and like like stop being around kids for your drag. Like you're an adult, be around adults, like be appropriate like in the rest of your adult life. Don't shake your junk at children, don't do sexual stuff around kids, because they don't need to be like you. They don't. That's not how they need to be in the future. And we got kids walking around acting like that, like they're drag, like it's so obnoxious and it is so weird to see, and it is clearly like just breeding a new generation of kids that are going to be conceited and self-serving and just over the top arrogant, but completely dependent on outside approval and validation and judgment. So it's going to be just very easy people to mislead in the future. Like it's not already, but I'm gonna say the more that they have figured out generation by generation what works and how to like break somebody down, and then the next one they twist it a little more, and then the next one they just tighten it and twist it a little bit more. Just, it's sad to watch. I guess I'm gonna like focus my issue on what I think my issue is. Keep drag queens where they belong, which is at home. At their own home. Keep them out of the parks. Keep it out of the streets. Go ahead, be on a parade, whatever. Throw your beads, I guess. Again, I don't really see it as like that much of gay culture. Sure, it's historically, I get it, the overlap was there, but in the same way that like vests are not necessarily gay culture, but they were there. They've been a part of every decade of gay fashion. Like, just because it was there doesn't mean it threw any breaks. Just because Malcolm Michaels Jr. was a transvestite during his lifetime doesn't mean that I owe all my rights to black trans women. So I'm gonna end on that controversial note that everybody knows the truth about. So thank you for listening.